Tekken, we're continuing martial arts month, because it's martial arts, get? Ruddish, he came up with it. Right. Tekken, let's get into it. You're Tekken it is. Tekken is from 2010, it lasts about an hour and 50 minutes. 30 long for this tidy movie. What's the tagline? Survival is no gain. Well, that's not bad. But the movie is. Right, okay. Do you know this had a $30 million budget? Where did it go? Well, it's expensive to make a movie, but yeah, guess what they made at the box office? Worldwide? What? 1.6 million? Right, well, to be fair, I heard that they didn't actually release this in American theatres or in British, Western theatres, because they released it in Japan, which is pretty good for a video game martial arts movie, but it did so poorly in Japan that they decided not to release it in the West. So that's probably why the box office takings were so low. Yeah, that's true. If they released it internationally in cinemas, the box office wouldn't be 1.6 million. No, it'd be 1.7. So you don't like this movie? No, I thought it was rubbish. It's not my favourite movie, it's not the best video game adaptation I've ever seen. It's probably not the worst, but it's not great. The martial arts are fine. I really expected going into this to see more DOA, more Charlie's Angels, more of that type of Dragon Ball Z wire work, CGI, flying type of fighting. But there's none of that. It is, for the most part, just martial arts. And it's pretty decent in that respect. So the movie opens in the year 2039. We are in the city of Anvil. An evil corporation has taken over the city. The corporation is called Tekken, and every year Tekken holds a tournament, the Iron Fist tournament. Yeah, where people fight just for, like, I don't know, money? I guess it's for money.
It's always about money.
Money?
But our main character is Jin, a young man who is basically hustling and stealing, trying to survive, looking after his mum, and his nun, by the way, who looks about the same age as him. Yeah, well, the actress is like 20, 30 years older than him. Really? She doesn't look it. Hello, Nissies. Right, okay.
He's a smooth operator.
At the head of the Tekken Corporation are Heihachi. This guy looks mental. Well, that's what he looks like in the video game. They've done well keeping it accurate with appearances. He looks nuts. You say that, they look at Jack. Yeah. The security forces in this movie are called Jacks, and there are Jacks in the Tekken video game universe, and they look vastly different. In the movie, they look a bit Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator-like. In this movie, they look like Kendo Nagasaki. Heihachi also has a son, Kazuya, who is waiting impatiently to take over his father's business. He's also the final person you'd have to fight if you win the Tekken tournament. Jin has a girlfriend called Kara. We see them making love for some reason. And they in this video game movie. Yeah, well. And then, as soon as he's in the tournament, he forgets her and goes off with this other lady. Yeah, he seems to. But before that, his mum is killed by Kazuya and the Jacks. He is furious, so he wants to get there. He wants to get into the Tekken tournament to get to Kazuya and kill him for revenge. Yeah, and every year they had like a little Tito's Choice combatant. Yeah, one person is picked from the city to go and fight in the tournament, but they have to pass the tryout. They have to fight a preliminary round in the city. Yeah, so that guy from Dross is holding tryouts. Yeah, Luke Goss.
When will I be famous? I can answer.
So, Jin is put in a cage with his opponent, Martial Law, and I can't believe this movie did Martial Law dirty like this. He was my favourite character in the game. and he's beaten quite quickly by Jin. So Jin is pissed off into the corporation headquarters where the fighting tournament will take place. What kind of business has got a floor just for fighting? This one, I guess. We get a little rundown of the main contestants, the main combatants, and then the tournament begins. Yeah, with a little writ-off of the Running Man. Yeah, they've got dancers and the podium and all this stuff. It does look very much like 1988's Running Man. Anyway, the first matchup is Eddie Gordo versus Raven. No idea who Raven is, but he beats Eddie Gordo anyway, and Eddie Gordo was another favourite of mine from the game. Utix and Lasers, no, they're good characters. And then Jin fights a character named Miguel Rocco. Never seen him before. Jin wins, obviously. At night, Jin and Christy Montero, another one I've never heard of, they decide to sneak out into the city, go for a little dance. Well, he stands on the dance floor while she sexily dances around him. Yeah. So long, Cara. You are that an enemy. They sneak back in, and he's instantly attacked by two ninjas. Kazuya wants Jin taken out before the end of the tournament because he thinks he's too much of a threat. He thinks he doesn't belong in this tournament. He's just a little street urchin. The next day, Christy fights Nina. Christy wins. Jin fights Yoshimitsu. Yeah, a guy who has swords, by the way. Swords and armour. How's that fair? I don't know. But they fight anyway, and... oh, that you're Nathan Ross.
Will I be famous?
Yeah, Luke Goss. Yeah, he gives Jin some tower gloves. Yeah, evens up the score a little bit. But anyway, obviously Jin wins. And then Brian will be Jin's next opponent. Now, Brian is half robot, so if anyone finds that out, he'll be disqualified. Yeah, Kazuya knows, and Kazuya says, listen, Brian, because that's the robot's name. Brian, kill Jin. I want him dead. Heihachi finds out what's going on, and as the owner of the corporation, he says, we're not doing this. This tournament is not to the death. Jin is a good fighter for being a little street guy. He deserves to be here as much as anyone else. So, Kazuya overthrows his father. Yeah, he has him locked up. And then he has all the fighters locked up for some reason. They're all put in the cells together, and they're all told, listen, from now on, Kazuya is in charge, and he says that the tournament will now be fights to the death. The only way you can win is to not die. Huh. Okay. Anyway, the fighters all manage to escape, like, instantly. Yeah. And Heihachi says, hey, let me come with you. I've got the access codes. By the way, Jin, I'm your father. Yeah, we find out Heihachi is the father of Jin. So Jin and Kazuya are half-brothers, and Jin will stand to inherit as much of the company as Kazuya. Kazuya is raging. Yeah, I don't know if he knows. He does eventually. Yeah, he does eventually. But as soon as they escape, they are arrested again, taken back to the tournament, and forced to carry on. But first, Kazuya murders his own father in a fiery explosion. Yes, he does, yeah. Next up is Miguel versus Brian, and Brian easily kills Miguel. And then it's Jin versus Brian. Brian Theory, half-robot, unstoppable. Jin kicks his ass. All he does is he climbs up this big podium thing, jumps off, and smashes his head in. Yeah. Gary Daniels, by the way. Oh, he has Gary Daniels. And then there's no time for anything else. There's no time for any of the other qualifying fighters to fight. It's just all about Jin. Right, well, instantly, as soon as he's killed Brian, Kazuya comes rushing into the arena. Yeah, with an axe. And he tries to kill Jin. He and Jin have a big fight. And Kazuya is winning until Christy causes a distraction. And then Jin wins. And he's about to murder Kazuya. But then Christy puts her hand on his shoulder. And he's like, yeah, man, you're right. Well, he doesn't say anything, but he decides he's not going to kill Kazuya. He is satisfied that he's beat him. And that's it. He's the winner of the Iron Fist tournament, and apparently the heir to the whole Tekken empire. But he just walks off and says to Christy, "Come on, Christy, let's go home." And that's the end. What a lot of rubbish. Right, Tekken's one of the best fighting games I've ever played in my life. From its very first edition right up to much, much later editions, it's great. This movie is not. Well, what do you think of it? Because I don't think this movie's great either. But I like the fighting, and I like the fighting. Yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, watch another video.
Continue. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.